What's up, everybody? Spare What a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Crackpack server. When we left off, we had been kind of derping around, doing all kinds of random things, exploring that dungeon, which went horribly wrong. I did eventually get most of my stuff back. This is most of our crap. I can't even tell you how many times we died. It was so bad. We died so many times. Creeper, I don't know if I recorded that or not. A creeper blew up the front of this starter home, so we filled it back in with just whatever blocks I had on me at the time. So I wanted to do some recording before I got too carried away with the Thaumcraft stuff. At the moment, I gotta be honest, last time we played on like an FTB pack, not Attack of the B Team. Attack of the B Team was very different. It had a lot more different mods than we normally played, but a long time ago when we did an FTB server, some of you who have been subscribers to my channel that long remember, it was like 2 years ago or something now, but when we did FTB, I was super industrial everything. Like, everything was machines, turtles, robots, conundrums, robot mechanics, wires, cords, cable, power, reactors, everything. Like, it was pretty insane. So this time, I will get into that. I do want to do some stuff, because they've added some things with the turtles and the ComputerCraft updates. They've done some upgrading, so I'm curious. Feel free to mention or suggest restrictions. Oh, Adrian's on. Say hi, YouTube. So I'm thinking of a few restrictions to put on myself for ComputerCraft, so that I don't. You gotta love him. So that I don't go too crazy with it and spend all of my time writing scripts for the turtles and all that. So I decided I wanted to go in more magic stuff first, and since Adrian was doing ours and a couple other things, I decided to go Thaumcraft for now. So I've been doing some research. Where's my thumb book? And Adrian actually suggested, he was like, you should probably record before you keep going, because you're getting caught up in the, swept up in the wave of all the fun. So my Thaumonomicon is significantly improved. I've got all this crap, basically. I don't know what half of it does. Well, no, actually I do know what a lot of it does, but we did this stuff we did last time. The deconstruction table, I'm not really sure what it's supposed to do exactly. I think it's supposed to break it down into aspects. For example, cobblestone will be simplified into 2 Terra and 1 pretty. Yeah, it's supposed to like deconstruct them into their elements. So I've also got into this node tapping stuff. This basically... okay, let me explain some mechanics so that if you understand them, great. If you don't, this will kind of fill in some of the blanks, because they were confusing me before. In their Thaumcraft 3, I think is what we had on the last FTB, you'd put your wand in here to make magical items, but you would dump items into the crucible, and their aspects would then float over to the table, and you could use it to craft. That's not how it works anymore. Now if you want to craft something, you need your wand to have all of the aspects that you need. You put it in here, and then your table has access to them, hence why you want to keep making better wands and things so it'll hold more viz and more aspects. And when you've got your wand out, you will see in the top left corner over here the little meter that tells you how much of each you have, and if you shift, you can see numerically how many you have. So I am full on everything, because this one will hold 50, with the exception of Terra, which is Earth. So I need to go get some Earth. Now, the reason I'm out of Earth is because in the Thaumaturgy, I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm saying it. So you start with your basic wand, which is the iron caps and a stick, but it only holds so much viz, and it's not really that good. The next step is the Great Wood wand, which you make from 2 Great Wood, makes a rod, and then I put gold caps on it, because it's supposed to do the best at the moment that I can. I can't get to this stuff yet. Now this does confuse me a little bit, because I've researched this and there's nothing connecting to it, so obviously there's something like you have to fill in the blanks here and there as to get to these greater mechanics. But essentially, this is a better wand. It holds more viz, and it will... I forget what the other thing is. It's like discounted. Because if you look at it, it says viz costs 95%, so it's got like a 5% discount on all the aspects as far as how much is needed for what things, which is cool. And I also made this focus, which is the excavation focus. Instead of having different wands like the original Thaumcraft 3 did, well, you still have different wands, but the abilities have changed to where now you can make focus, or foci. And I only have one, so I can't show it, but if you hold F and you have more than one, you can switch, from my understanding, as to what foci you have. You can see in the top left in the circle part there, right up over in here, that I have the excavation wand focus set, and so what that lets me do, I can't do it, I'm out of earth. But if I had earth in the meter, what that lets me do is basically mine. It's like a green laser that breaks blocks, which is pretty cool. So, to sum up, you need your wand to have the viz aspects that you need to craft things in the crafting table. So when I look at this foci thing... Okay, so here's fire. So you need these elements: fire shard, fire charge, nether quart. But you need 10 Perdido and 20 ignis. So right now, I have that. I have 50 and 50 on both, so I could make that. If it required earth, I have 0.1, so I can't do that until I refill it. Now, this is the part that Adrian and I ran around the server for like an hour yesterday trying to find and figure out. How do you refill the wand? I tried dumping things in here and right-clicking on it. That doesn't work. Actually, it turns out if you right-click a crucible with the wand, it clears the water, which will clear all aspects in the crucible. So if you have anything in there and you want to use it, don't do that. And you can tell, if you go into alchemy, I've got a few things here that I've researched, and we'll go over that in a minute. But when you have this in a crucible, this is what the crucible is used for now, is to make certain things, not to dissolve them into aspects. Now, the only problem with this, I have not experimented with this, so I don't know exactly how to get the item out. We'll play around with that later. Now, on to refilling the wand. So basically, you can see on my map here, I've got earth, water, order node, multi-node, fire node. So these are nodes that pop up around the world due to Thaumcraft, basically. Like, it just generates them as part of world gen. Well, that's where this comes in. That you need to find the node with the aspect you're looking for, and then essentially go and drain it. Leave me alone, Enderman. So, for example, we need earth. Everything else is full. I happen to know that this node over here has the earth element, because I've marked them all on my map, so I know where they all are now. Or, well, close to me. So I have the goggles of revealing. So when you look at things like the node now, it shows me it has 44 of those 3 elements, and Terra is the one we need. Why it's flashing, I don't know. I think that's a graphical glitch. So from here, we right-click, and you'll see that Terra is draining. Now it's left with 1. The reason it's left with 1 is because I've researched... Is it advanced? More efficient way? No. Advanced node tapping will double how fast it draws. Master node tapping will triple it. Where's the... Oh, node preserver. This is it. This basically sets it to where you will always leave at least 1 viz of each aspect in the node unless you are sneaking. Be warned, this level of control is not possible when using wands crafted from normal wood and iron. So, if you're using a wood and an iron wand, you can drain it completely. If you have anything better than that, you will always leave one count of that aspect in the node, so it's never completely drained, which means you can let it recharge, come back to it later, and drain it again. Otherwise... Oh, good grief, Adrian's been working. He's been on the server almost as much as I have, and he's been doing like the Ars Magic stuff, so he's got some crazy contraptions going on. He also has a node behind him, and it's for like order and a couple other things. So that's how you refill your node. That's how you refill your wand, and the wand is then used to make things or to do things. Like if I had the foci for fire, I don't think I have a fire charge though. What is best way to do stuff is by example, but I don't know if I have all of these. Let me see if I have 2 of those shards anywhere. Did I bring any? No. I have the quartz there, so I need quicksilver and entropy. Ooh, I have 2 order and 2 entropy shards, so I have enough. And then where's my quicksilver? It's in here somewhere, I think. Oh yeah, and I finally made a barrel for cobble because it was just getting ridiculous. There we go. Quicksilver. And I have the quartz down here, so this will be a good example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have everything we need. Put 2 there, put 2 there, like so, and like so. And you'll see we need 15, 15, and 10. Then we'll put the wand in. And they stop blinking because we actually have enough. Now you'll see it has 9.5 instead of 10, 14.25 instead of 15. That's because the Great Wood Wand and the gold bands give it a 95% discount. So this makes the wand of equal, or the focus of equal trade. Now we have 2 focuses. So when we hold F, we can select that. Aha! And you'll see the top part of the wand has shifted to where now it's the wand of equal trade. Now if we hold F again, we can click that, and now it's back to that. Now, you can only hold a certain amount. Wait a minute, why did this... That's weird. Oh, you have to carry it with you. Okay. Okay, so whatever one you don't have... I'm still learning some of this stuff too, so... Okay, so when I switch, now the excavation wand is here. So it keeps one, but you'll carry the other ones with you. I'm going to keep it as this for now. That's cool. And then there is this thing, which is the focus pouch, and it basically carries your foci around with you. And then there's this one, which sounds really cool. I think I've seen Etho use that one before. And there's Shock and Frost and a bunch of other ones you can get eventually, because these aren't all the research things. You can expand out a lot in this stuff. So let's go over some of the other things. That's the basic wand stuff. The research duplication is a little weird. It's basically that when you complete a research note, if you don't right-click it and add it to your Thaumanomicon, you can put it back in, and for a certain amount of aspects you can like duplicate it, I guess, if you wanted to give it to friends or whatever. We have a node in the jar, which is insane. You can move the nodes or capture them in a jar with wood slabs, glass around the aura node, and then glass. But you need 70 of each aspect, so even the Great Wood Wand won't be able to do it because it has a max of 50. And then you can actually take it with you places and, you know, make a base out of it or whatever. Not a base, but you know what I mean. You could put it in your Thaumcraft lab or whatever. Okay, so we have Niter, which is mystical light. I don't think it actually burns. Niter can also be played. It doesn't seem to produce much more light than heat, though it could prove to be a steady source of light and energy. And then Alumentum is kind of like a hand grenade from what I remember. Gunpowder, this is interesting. If you have 4 Perdido and Ignis and you throw gunpowder and you get another one, so you could basically keep duplicating it. This is going to get into some weird stuff that I have never seen before, though. The Essentia Distillation. And essentially you make a furnace and I'm going to actually go into detail on this at some point when I actually build it, but I don't have them done yet. But you make a furnace, and then you use this stuff to make a distiller, or an alembic. You put that on top, and then you use tubes to like pipe it out of places, and essentially instead of cooking it like an ingot, it'll cook it into its elements. So for example, if I were to put this sword in the Thalmic furnace, or whatever it's called, I forget what it's called, it would give you like those 3 essentia things, as far as that's how I read it. Oh gosh, the door. And then you can pipe it through to these warded jars. And warded jars have labels. You can label them so that only specific aspects can go in them. It's pretty intense, actually. I don't know what the void jar is, but I'm pretty sure it's to get rid of aspects you don't want. Then we have the Essentia tubes, which is used to pipe things from a node and from a furnace to other stuff. The resonator, I think, is... you can use it on a tube or other Essentia using device to see what kind of Essentia is currently contained in the tube. The centrifuge takes combo Essentia and then reduces it down to its primal state, I believe. And then the buffer allows you to hold more than what the centrifuge can hold, so you put it like on top, and if it backs up, it can buffer. And then there's an automated one, which I haven't researched yet. There's advanced tubes, like, and if, by the way, if any of you guys are experts in Thaumcraft and I say anything incorrectly, don't hesitate to correct me. I don't know everything. All I know is from what I've read in this book and seen in like Etho and Zisto and some of the other people's videos that have done crackpack stuff. All I know. So if I'm incorrect in anything, let me know. Actually, it probably will help me if you let me know. And then I've done a few things in here. I did the Goggles of Revealing. I don't think I've done much in this tab. Oh, I've gotten in the Enchanted Fabric, which is one of each element, string in a plus sign, and then a wool, and you get an Enchanted Fabric. And then you can use that for the Thaumatarge's mage robes, you know, all that good stuff. And then they can also be used in some other recipes later. I will admit I haven't read this section, so I don't know what this charm and stuff does. It's probably very useful. I will research that at some point. And then there's the Infernal Furnace, which we haven't gotten to yet, and so on. Now, Crucible I'm still rusty with, or shade, what's a good word? Noobish. I'm still noobish with the Crucible. Don't know exactly how it works in the new Thaumcraft 4. We've gone over the wands, the workbench, how to get research. Now I think we should go over actually researching stuff. So, let me grab paper. I'm going to try and grab a simple one so it doesn't take too long to explain. Let's see how big the Infernal Furnace one is. That's not too bad. I'll do one and I'll come back and finish it. So, what I was trying to explain, I didn't really explain this part before. So you've made a research note, you put the scribing tools back in, you put the note in here, now you've got all these aspects to deal with. We talked about how to make combo aspects in the last episode. So, I've seen a lot of tutorials on this, I've read a lot of tutorials on this, but they're kind of oddly worded and it's not very simple. And it really is kind of simple once you understand the mechanics. Basically, you have these aspects on the sheet. You need to connect them all at least once. So you can connect this one to this one, this one to this one, this one to this one, and you're done. You don't need all of them to connect to each one. You just need all 4 of them to connect in one way or another. Like you could have a row of aspects that go here, and then this one connects up to this, and then you could have these connect this way. You can do a straight row. I mean, like, you can do it however you want. You just need it to all connect at least once to another aspect. Now, how do you do that? Essentially, the short version, the best, simplest way I can describe it, is you need to leapfrog or connect each aspect by using ones that are part of its makeup. So for example, fire is primal. There's nothing to make up with it. So you can't use fire directly because you can't put two aspects of the same thing next to each other, but you need something that uses fire. As an example, you could use Lux, which has air and fire. Fire's right here, so you can place it. Now, it does need those exactly. Like, for example... I'm not doing good at an example, am I? What else has fire? Okay, so Potentia has fire. You could put that here, but then you could not put Lux next to Potentia just because they both use fire. You would need another Ignis, another fire one here, and then go to that one. That confused me for a long time, believe it or not. So, we have the magic and air. Now, I've had experience with this a little bit. So, magic's made from the vacuum, which is vacuos, this one, and Potentia. Now, Potentia has fire, which we just talked about. However, we could do this one here, and then do Potentia there, but you can't do two fires next to each other. That's a problem. So, what we may want to do is, let's see, and I have one research thing that you have a chance not to use up items and things like that, just as a side note. So if you see something and it doesn't get used up, that may be why. So I'm going to pause it real quick and figure out how I want to do this, and then I'll come back so that we don't waste time. Okay, so I think I actually have an idea of how I want to do this one. I know what I want to do with this one, but I ran out of the air element. I messed it up, and so I'm waiting for the air to recharge or to find another thing to get research points for it, which I can explain in a minute. I don't think I went over that. But this one, I think I know what I want to do. Now, I will not make any claims that how I do these in any of my videos from here on out is the most efficient. It's just how I figured out how I wanted to do them. So, this hammer one is the people one and the pickaxe and shovel. I don't know their names, so I'm just calling them what they look like. So, because that has the element directly in it, you can drag it over there and drop. You can kind of see there's a little blue line that connects. If it doesn't connect, then they're not connecting and it won't work. Now this one is made of the people one and Ordo, which is a prime element. So I'm going to grab this one. Wait, no I'm not. Scratch that. Reverse it. I'm going to grab this one because it has this element and earth. So we're going to do that. Now we're going to have to drop an earth one, and then stone is made of 2 earth, and you can see because this one has stone and Ordo. So basically you can see that it has to be the ones that are adjacent, if you want them to connect, has to be that exact something in their makeup. So this one has stone and Ordo, so it connects. But you'll notice stone is 2 earth, and this armor one is the pickaxe and shovel and earth. But they don't connect directly. You actually have to put an earth in between them so that it can connect. So it literally has to be connected to something that is in its formula to be made up. So from this point, we can come off of this and connect to this one. We can come off to this and connect to this. It just depends on however you want to do it. So I'm going to be back when I've got the whole thing squared away, and then we'll go over the rest of it. Okay, so I think I figured out how I want to finish this off. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a Potentia here. Now we're going to need to make another one of those because I'm going to need one up here. So we're going to do Ordo and Ignis. And you can see that makes a research point. That's one way you can do it. You can also use the thermometer and find something new in the world that you haven't found before, but we'll go over that in a minute. Now, we're going to kind of go off of what we did before. We'll drag a stone here because it connects to earth. And now we'll do metal, because that's stone and Ordo. Now, again, these don't connect, because they're not made up of each other, but they both have ordo in common. So if we put that here, now this one connects. So essentially you can see that these don't all need to connect directly, the chain just has to all touch each other at some point. Now we're going to put another ordo, or potentia, here. So you can do more than one, they just can't be right next to each other. And then because this one is made of the wand and air, and the wand is made of potentia, we can put that there, and the hex goes away and it's completed. Now this was the thing about the duplication. If we had, you can see a paper, ink sac, 3 of the purple suns, 5 of the hammer, 8 of the fire, and 5 of the metal, we could duplicate this before actually imprinting it. So if like Adrian wanted to use it or something like that, you know, and didn't want, you know, to have to use all my stuff, he could do it. So we have a completed research note. When you click on it now, it'll say you've completed it, and now it actually shows up in here. And when it shows up in here, it explains how it all works, yada yada yada. And then it'll also unlock new stuff like the arcane bellows and so on and so forth. So that's how you unlock new stuff. Now, the one part that's different, the wands aspect you get from nodes and you put in here and you craft. The crucibles aspect you get from dropping things with said aspects into them, but the research table gets them from other ways, and that is from the thermometer. You can see that we've got the little indicators coming up all over. It's because I've scanned all this stuff before, and essentially they're research points, basically, for the research table. So for example, once you've researched things too, you can hold shift on them, and it should, like this, it'll show you what it has. Apparently I've never researched a stone sword, so this might be a good example. If we throw that over here, see, bing, and then you get all those research points. So we gain 2, 2, and 2 for stone, darkness, and, or destruction, and the blade, Telium, and we gained 1 for arbor. So that's how you get research nodes, or research points. Dying zombie dog. So the research points are then transferred to the table. And air, water, all of those recharge slowly over time. If there's a close node, they recharge faster, I believe. That part I'm not positive on, I'm guessing. Unfortunately, you can't just walk out and scan air. That would be amazing, because I'm always running out of air on my research points. Which is why I ended up doing that research with the wand and stuff instead of the Lux and other things, is because I ran out of air points. But that's how you gain new air. That's how you gain new research points for using this table. And then you can combine those aspects to make new ones and learn all these crazy ones. And so on and so forth. So basically, use the thermometer, you scan stuff. Now the thermometer is made very early on. It's one of the first things you make. Where did it go? Artifice, here it is. So you don't even need a magic workbench or whatever. You just need 2 shards, glass, and 2 gold, and it makes the thermometer. And the table here is made by 2 planks and then 3 slabs. And you put one of them down, slap it with a wand, it turns into an arcane work table. You put 2 of them down, smack it with a wand, and you get the research table. The crucible is made by a cauldron. You put it down, you smack it with a wand, and it turns into a crucible instead of a cauldron. And I've also forgot to mention, the water needs to be boiling. So you'll put water in, but then you need a constant source of fire. I have a piece of netherrack under here with it lit, and that keeps it boiling. And then you can throw stuff in, it turns it into aspects. That I haven't done too much of this time, though. It's a little funkier than last time in Thaumcraft 3. I've done more with the research table and the work table. And I just researched it, as you can see, but the furnace is a whole nother ball of wax that does some other stuff that you can use it for. I don't remember exactly what that one's used for. But so anyways, that's kind of my crash course in what I've done so far in Thaumcraft. It explains the mechanics so that next episode when I show up and I've got like a ton of this crap researched, it won't be like, how did you do that? Again, if I'm incorrect about anything, don't worry about it. Let me know. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just sharing what I've learned. Because I did do some Thaumcraft stuff in the last Feed the Beast thing, but I never did it with Thaumcraft 4, which is the new stuff, and they changed a lot. Oh, and I also used my excavator wand and made an underground tree farm because I was so sick of going outside and getting attacked by zombies and everything. The mobs are just vicious in this mod pack. I don't know what they did. So anyways, I guess we're about out of time for this episode. Actually, we're very out of time for this episode. This went a little longer than I expected. But that way, you guys are clued into what I'm working on and what I'm doing on the server. Hopefully next episode we'll have like a collab, another joint video, and maybe I can clue you guys in on what all Adrian's doing. I didn't want to show off all of his stuff without him there to explain everything, though, because he's done all kinds of R's and blood magic and stuff that just hurts my head. So I'm not into that yet. I'm gonna wait till I'm like done with Thaumcraft and maxed everything out, and then might get into another magic mod. And somewhere in the middle of all this, I'm gonna work on building an actual final house. This is more of my starter hut. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace!